Hello, welcome my boulder bearded friends. In today's video we're going to talk about Tonka Cola by Mancera. This is actually my scent of the day. I sprayed it on like 10 hours ago and just one spray on my hand palm and I still got the faintest whiff of this fragrance. It's a really intriguing scent. It has a nice spicy cinnamony cherry opening, and of course smells like Coca-Cola. Nice pressurized sprayer with the typical bottle of the Manceras, and this one is the little one, I believe. Oh no, this is the 120 milliliter bottle. They also come sometimes in, I believe, 75, and then this is the box, and when you get them, the bottle come in like this little pouch thingy, like this, and then you can, I don't know, it's like it should like feel like high-end packaging material, but I don't know, I really dislike it. It just reminds me too much of the real cheap clone houses nowadays with all their packaging and presentation stuff. Personally, I would just like to have a an amazing fragrance, and I don't really care about the packaging materials. It has a magnetized cap, that's nice, and for the bottle is really only the plaque on top. You get a nice cap, and that's it about it. All right, now it's dried down a little bit on my hand. Let's talk about the opening of this fragrance. And this is a real nice but also really potent fragrance, and that is amazing about this fragrance. I really like it, but the how potent it is also its downfall. For you will get nose blind by this fragrance rather quickly, and the times are where this one people noted that I sprayed too much, that it was too overwhelming to them. So that could be a little bit of a downfall for it. It's just that potent that that one, you get really fast nose blind to it, and two, because you get really fast nose blind to it, others will also think you stink just because of the potentness and the amount. When you just keep it to like 3 sprays, again, it's a rather potent fragrance. People tend to really love it, and that is throughout all age ranges. I noticed from people younger than me, like in the 20s, but also people in the 50s, like my parents. Okay, the opening is real nice. It reminds me of the Amarena, the cherry ice cream from Italy, something like that, but just with added cinnamon, and it's a lot of cinnamon, and the cinnamon is I would say almost as potent as Victor and Rolf Spice Bomb. It's that pungent, potent cinnamon, and the cherry cinnamon is really well supported by a rather also potent lemon note. So you got the cherry, lemon, and cinnamon mix, with underneath it some other spiciness. On Fragrantica it's stated it's nutmeg, but there's definitely also some other spices underneath it, but just cinnamon, the lemon, and then the cherry is just really potent and lasts almost throughout all of the fragrance. Again, I have the 10-11 hour dry down on my left hand. It turns into a bit of a benzoin, a vanillic vibe. Also really nice, but much more toned down and just, a skin scent. Now we get the middle part of this fragrance, and that's really where you got a Coca-Cola vibe. It starts quite right away and lasts for, I would say, around 4 hours, the Coca-Cola, something like that. And then afterwards, it dies down, and then you get the base notes only. In the mid notes, the Coca-Cola note, which is, I would say, really spot on. I really like it. I don't really enjoy drinking Coca-Cola or cola for that matter, but just the realness of this scent makes it intriguing. It definitely smells like Coca-Cola tastes, or at least that note in the fragrance, and that's what I really like about this fragrance. And that is also why I think people tend to like it, because it's such a familiar note or taste also, of course, that in that sense it's really a head turner, and it's really a fragrance that you will get noticed with this fragrance, also because of the potency again. But you got the amazing Coca-Cola note, and it's supported by some patchouli and some orange blossom. Supported is really the correct term for it. The patchouli gives it a little bit more of a darkness or depth, if you will, underneath the Coca-Cola, and the orange blossom just gives it a little bit more of a well-roundedness with the white florals, but only, again, just like the patchouli, only just a little bit to support the heaviness of the Coca-Cola, and actually just still, the spices like the cinnamon and the nutmeg and perhaps some other spices. Really deep down in the dry down, your Coca-Cola has flown away, also with the patchouli and the orange blossom. You really get down to the basement of the fragrance, to the bones, if you will, and then you get just a deep scent, if you will. It really is the sweet base of this fragrance. It has the tonka bean, the vanilla, the benzoin, and the labdanum, all giving it depth and quite a lot of sweetness, really, to have the amazing push, if you will, of this fragrance. And that's really what is intriguing also about this fragrance. If you have not noticed it yet, I really like this one. But that's also a part of this fragrance I really like, for after all the spices and all the, the Coca-Cola and the citruses and the cherry and the white florals, all that dies down, you really have a rich, sweet base. Nowadays there are a lot of fragrances, especially the fresher ones, who don't really tend to have that much of a base, but this one is just solid, if you will. Again, the tonka bean, the vanilla, the benzoin, the labdanum, all pretty heavy notes, and all rather sweet, heavy, giving really depth to this fragrance, and that's what I really like about it. All right, the longevity of this fragrance, I said it a little bit already, but the first 6 hours, something like that, depending, of course, on the amount of sprays and the humidity and the warmth outside, etc., etc., etc. But I think that the first 6 hours you will really get noticed. You have a real nice scent bubble around you, and it just provides you with an amazing scent surrounding you, which is really notable, even 6-7 hours in. I feel like around the 7, 8, 9 hour, it really tones down rather quickly and becomes a skin scent. On a side note, if you spray it on your clothes, I'm afraid it will probably last for days, but you still have a much more of a longer lasting bubble, of course, around you, because it will evaporate much less quickly than on skin. And its pH is also quite strong. On the notes of if it's a masculine scent or a scent really suitable for women or just in between, like a unisex scent, I would say it's unisex masculine leaning. And I think if you do 1 or 2 sprays as a female, I think you can really get away with it. But if you do multiple sprays, like 3, 4, 5, because of the cinnamon and because of the heaviness in this fragrance, I think it will become quite harsh after all those sprays. And most of the time, females don't want to, smell like that. But again, of course, if you want to smell like this fragrance, you should spray it on. In that sense, like no fragrance is masculine, unisex, or female. It's just what most people of men or females tend to like. So I would highly recommend you try this one. I really like it. I actually wore it quite a lot. It's not really noticeable by looking at the. It really shines on multiple occasions. And I actually wanted to round up this video, but it really shines on multiple occasions. It really shines in colder weather because of the sweetness, the depth of this fragrance, like the labdanum, the cinnamon, all those notes, the heavier notes in this fragrance. It really is heavy enough to cut through the cold, as they say, and have some projection and provide you with an interesting fragrance. But also in the summer, and especially summer nights when it's a little bit warmer, when it cools down a little bit at the end of the day, like when you go out or you go on a date, something like that. This is an amazing scent. Again, especially if it's warmer, don't overspray. Like 1 or 2 sprays are probably sufficient by then. Try for yourself, of course. But it's a really likable and a really noticeable scent because it's not don't smells. It doesn't smell like any of the other fragrances actually I ever worn so far, and it doesn't smell like any of the popular fragrances you will have when you go out to go on a date or whatever. So if you want to stand out, this is really a great fragrance for you, and that's why I would highly recommend you all to try it. If you can find it in the store somewhere, definitely try it out. It was Tonka Cola by Mancera. Actually, my very first Mancera. So, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Ciao.